Life is full of wonder and majesty, and many milestones to mark it. Your first steps, your first kiss, the first time you subscribe to Spootyskater. Skateboarding is no different. As you dedicate your time to the sport and progress, you will cross many proud and personal milestones. Here are mine.
Well, I think everyone remembers their first kickflip. Yeah, mine was back in the summer of '04, just in the driveway. I set up my mom's camera on the floor to try and capture it. And I was having the hardest time getting my front foot to actually land on the board. I could catch it with the back foot bolts, but every time my front foot would just go off to the side and land on the ground. And I don't know what it was. I think I just mentally forced myself to put the front foot back on the board after I've caught the flip. I remember catching it with the heel touch in sort of a manual position. But it was your first kickflip, you know, it's not going to be perfect. But I was super excited about it. I remember running back inside, watching the footage, and also hearing myself just sort of exclaim in excitement of landing the first kickflip. It's just like, you know, kickflip's the iconic one, so everybody remembers it. And to land that for the first time, it's just like, the nollie tray flip. Yes, I remember the nollie tray flip. That was one I was super proud of. I remember at the time thinking that it was the hardest trick ever, and thus the best trick ever, at least in terms of flat ground flip tricks. And I had no expectations of landing it whatsoever. I remember one day just thinking, what the heck, let me just go for it, and I started doing it. It was kind of like a Hail Mary in terms of skateboarding tricks. And I got really close, so I got super excited. I grabbed my mom's little point and shoot camera that only recorded 20-second intervals with no audio whatsoever. And I just started little clips here and there, and I got it. I landed it. I don't remember, I didn't land it very often after that. I just got that one take, that one clip, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm good, you know? I'm the best skateboarder in the school, best skateboarder, because I got an ollie tray. Rippin' Riverside. Oh man, that large concrete skate park over in Oviedo. They still make you wear helmets over there. It's a shame. But yeah, they've got a pretty sweet mellow pyramid, and I really loved tray flips back then. Still do. But I decided, let me just go for a tray flip over it. And I ate it really hard on one of the attempts. Felt like a sack of potatoes, like a box of bricks hitting that pavement. But I got up, and I believe it was the next try. Caught it front foot catch, landed bolts all the way across in my green pants. Felt good. Still pretty proud of that. I don't think I could go back and do that today. That pyramid scares me now, man. Even though it's just a tiny little thing, it's terrifying. The hard flip off the homemade kicker. That was another proverbial Hail Mary on my part. I had no expectations of landing it when I first started trying it. And I think I gave it maybe 5 or 6 attempts, and I just stuck it. It was insane. My dad and I, we built that kicker with like $30 worth of construction materials from Home Depot one afternoon. We just decided, let's build a kicker ramp. So we went and we got some sheets of wood, some little pieces of plexiglass. It was really cool how we designed the lip, because you know, just grab a regular sheet of wood, you're gonna have maybe like a 1/4-inch lip. And that's not ideal for rolling over on a skateboard. So we got a little piece of plexiglass to reduce that lip. And I remember we manufactured these small triangular prisms to go along. I think it was like 5 or 6 along the underneath of the plexiglass, just to strengthen the material when the constant abuse of riding over it. And I skated it a lot actually. And I think about 2 weeks after making it, I decided I wanted to spray paint it black. So I spray painted it black, made a bunch of stencils. That's something I don't do anymore. When you get a new pair of shoes, right, you take a box cutter and cut out the logo of your favorite brand of shoes or something like that, and then you make that a stencil and spray something on. I did my first handrail, believe it or not, at Woodward East in Pennsylvania. There's like a little, I think it's an elongated 6 block in the wooden area, the wooden ramp section, and they have a pretty mellow handrail. But before then, I'd never even attempted one. But I was working my way up to it before I went on that trip, and I knew I wanted to get a handrail. And I just got the gusto, I've got the guts in that moment to pop on. And I think that's all handrails really are for the most part. You know, you gotta have the ability to maneuver yourself into the specific grind or slide that you're doing. But apart from that, it's just having the guts to hop on that rail with the speed, with the angle, the height of the rail and the handrail, and just go for it. And I was pretty excited about that. And then recently I went back to Ripon Riverside Skate Park after not having done a handrail in probably 4+ years. There'd been a lot of fallen pollen at that time, and so it was dispersed everywhere. It was caked onto the handrail, so it was super sticky to begin with. I didn't have any wax with me, and there were a bunch of leaves everywhere, the entire skate park over. And so I remember brushing up some of the leaves from the run-up, and I was super sketched out about that, but I still, same thing. All it takes is just the right mindset, the right guts to roll up to it and not kick out. Pop on and stick through it. Definitely handrails, that was a milestone for me. That was one of those points where I felt like I stepped up my skateboarding just a little bit more to the next level, you know? And the nollie hard flip, yes. That's the exciting one for me, just because it's recent. I haven't learned a new flip trick in, gosh, it's been forever. And someone challenged me on Instagram to land a nollie hard flip, and I was like, alright, that's as good a time as any to try and land a new trick when someone gives you that challenge. And so I went for it. Took me a good few days. I mean, it was super hot on the weeks after I initially tried it. I was a little discouraged by my progress in the initial attempts, but I stuck with it. I started to try around with a few different foot placements, a few different ways of pressuring the board, and I ended up pulling through and landing that nollie hard flip. And I can get them pretty consistent now, actually. I think I figured it out. I think I've got the ways of the nollie hard flip down. You know, it's all about that, tinkering with it a little bit, try and push it another way, a different angle. Yeah, quite happy about that. Nollie hard flips.